How's it going, traders? Richard K here from Price Action and Income, and welcome to this week's live session where I analyze the markets for you. Oh, actually, the markets that I like to follow using market geometry and timing techniques. We generally go on for about half an hour, but it all depends on the engagement from you guys. So please, if you have any questions, there will be some time for you to send me any of your ticker symbols you want me to have a look at. Maybe I can have a quick analysis on that for you, or maybe you have questions about trading, whatever the case might be, trading related. These sessions are also for you guys. So please don't be shy and ask me questions if you have. Before I get started, guys, all of the analysis I'm showing you today just reflects my own opinion and views, so please, it doesn't constitute any trading advice, so just be wary of that. But as always, we've been pretty accurate with a lot of these things, so hopefully this can also help you guys out with your own trading. All right, so generally I go on for about 10-15 minutes, just looking at some of the markets we continuously update and watch during the sessions. And like I said, I'll hand that over to you for any questions you might have. But if you're new to this channel, you like what you're seeing today, please hit the subscribe button. We also posted a new video today on TradingView under my profile. I think Nathan, which is manning the chat box on the other side of things, will drop that link in there if you want to see that video. It's very informative. Also fantastic analysis. It's been working out really well. We've also been tracking here live using the cycles I've been showing you since the 22nd of September on Bitcoin. So please go have a look at that video, follow that link, and please follow me in TradingView as well. I would really appreciate that. I'm going to get a bit more active on posting trade ideas, etc. on TradingView as well from now on. All right, enough of me chatting about that. Let's dive into the markets. Guys, so if you've been following this live sessions, I like looking at the dollar index because obviously it's a really good index to follow, especially when you trade cross dollar related currency pairs as well as gold and silver, markets that could be affected by the dollar index. I'm still of view and opinion that what's been happening since the beginning of this year is a correction, i.e. correcting this move to the upside. And I do think that at some point at the end of this year, well, we're almost at the end of the year already, we might potentially get another peak, but like I said, corrective in nature, and then see another move to the downside to potentially complete this very large correction that I think is just not over yet. If you take a closer look at what I believe this is, I'm still of the opinion that this is a double XY, or what they call a double zigzag correction. And all that basically is two zigzags, or we can call it an ABC, that is conjoined by a WX axis, and then you get another A and a B and a C to the upside. Now, since this sort of area here, I think this was the A wave of the second zigzag, potential B wave, and now I think we still moving higher 1, 2, 3, but only after a corrective move. If you remember from the prior videos that I've shot, the sessions that I said I expected to move to the downside, we did get that. We might still move a little bit lower, guys. Potentially want to really watch the fib retracements levels from this low to this high over here, and if we can get into this sort of area, I think we can get another bounce to the upside. Now, whether this is going to take prices above the previous high or create a lower low and a lower high instead, sort of in this time window, that remains to be seen. But I'm very interested in this time window, which is around about the end of November, December-ish sort of time frame. Yeah, it's a little bit of a wide time frame, but we'll be able to narrow the time window as well as the price window where I believe this entire correction could end. Alternatively, like I said, this whole move could have ended already. And now we're going down, and we're just gonna, or maybe down, head up, create a lower high, and then move lower. So I just don't think we're done yet, but in any case, I think expect a little bit more weakness for probably a week or so more, maybe even less. So that is already showing up on the US dollar, Japanese yen, and US dollar, Swiss franc. These are markets I'm also following with my members at the Exponential Profit System Forecast service that we also run, where I do most of this analysis for you and find these high probability or probable reversing areas, if I can say that. All right, so that's a dollar index. Guys, I don't want to spend too much time on going over the same markets all the time, but something I wanted to show you here on a US dollar Swiss franc, because I get often asked, market geometry, how does this work and why does it work? Well, that's a bit of a difficult question to answer, but I think to visually explain you what market geometry is using this example of the US dollar Swiss franc, a picture perfect example of what market geometry is. Now, including a little bit of pattern work, probably a little bit of Elliott wave analysis, you can quite often get a framework or set up a bias, even if it's after the fact. But quite often when you have, let's say, repeatable time areas, like I'm going to explain all of this now before I hand it over to you guys. You get quite often market geometry price that repeats dynamically in either ranges or in time. And depending on the angles or the slope that generally kicks off, like in this case here from the 9th of June's low to this high over here on the 2nd of July, it sets off an effect that afterwards, when you get a pullback, let's say it fails to break this, which it did obviously, and then moves up, you then want to imply or start using market geometry. And what market geometry does is, it exposes that underlying symmetry that's prevalent in the markets. And quite often, using the right pivots, using stuff like pitchforks, multi-time frame analysis, and again, I'll be going through all of these things. I even use FIB retracements, and there's some timing elements involved here. You can, to a very high degree, get into trades or find areas where there will be a probable reversal. So this is a correction, I believe, that has ended already. And even if it has ended, I think there's a good chance that it will break at least this low here and this low from where I believe this correction started from. When this happens now, later, whatever happens in between here, I think there's a good chance that it will. And the reason why I'm thinking that is because of market geometry and these timing elements that I'm going to show you right now. So let's jump through what I've done here quickly. So this was a 5-wave move to the upside. And generally, a 5-wave move in a trending market will kick off, obviously, a trend. But you always have to look at what happened prior to a kickoff like that. And this massive impulsive move downwards to the downside that started in April, this for me tells me that if we do get a correction, we likely, a move backward that retraces that we're likely dealing with a correction. Now, the most simplest way of analysis is just to run a FIB retracement, and quite often and I know a lot of traders will be watching this, or these FIB retracement levels for potential trades. And we had a 0.618 FIB retracement, price came down, it failed to break this low. It started moving up again. And in this case, where price then approaches a new high, you want to assume then, or try to find areas where if price touches it, that you might get a reversal. But even if this is done after the fact, a lot of this work's already been done before the fact, guys. I've done this work with my EPS forecasters. Prior to price reaching a high over there, you want to draw market geometry, and you want to first of all assume that you're probably dealing with the most common corrective pattern, which is an ABC, or what they call a single zigzag. And then I love using my shift pitchfork as my default setting, from the start of this to that high and this higher low over here. 3 anchor points, and that's done in a tremendously good job to get the price almost reversing at that upper median line there. But there's more things than obviously we have 0.786 for retracement level there as well. If you then run a channel from this low to this low to that high, price failed to break the center line there, and it reached it perfectly over there again, failed again. And now if you want to talk about the timing aspects of things, and this quite often happens with ABCs, it doesn't happen always, but if you do see these sort of timing aspects and you do see prices reverse from them, and you include timing aspects into your analysis, it can really raise that confidence that you're dealing with a potential end of a correction, or in some cases, mostly during corrections. So I was assuming this was a C wave, and actually this C wave here I think was just an ending diagonal C wave of an ABC single zigzag. We run a, where's this gone now? Yeah, sorry, there's a label over there. We run a date range from this low to this low, 40 bars, 56 days. We go from the B wave, what I assumed could be a B wave, exactly the same time period, actually misses it by 1 day, which is perfectly acceptable with timing work. And we get a reversal the day afterwards. So there's a timing element involved there. And quite often with single ABCs, although there was a complex C wave over here, you'll quite often find that they run the same ranges. So low from here to there, 348.6 pips, or 3.91% increase in price. And if you run that from, this is this green one over here, maybe we can't see that properly, color that a different color. Yeah, let's do that. I just copy and pasted this one and added to there, ran a line horizontal, price just I think went with 1 pip above that same range. So it's a replication in the range between the waves. It's a replication in timing, and as well as market geometry from different time frames, not different time frames, but different historical points in the market, from using a channel, failure at center line, and price slightly missing the upper median line of that green shift pitchfork. And that's typically the sort of things you want to see to raise the confidence that you might get a reversal. Now, I get a lot of people that always tell me, but this is after the fact. Well, in fact, it's not really after the fact. I've been working on a lot of these things before the fact. But, even if you want to not agree with me, that's 100% fine. What I want to tell you, though, is if you do get reactions from there, that there is more ample opportunity to get in, especially if there's still a lot of profit potential left in the trade. So any sort of retracement you can try to get in. We're actually not in this trade at the moment. We potentially anticipating a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leading diagonal to kick off, a pullback, trying to get into there and then short this to the downside. Or we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming to an end, so around this area, then get a pullback. And this will, I'm thinking, be the first wave, second wave pullback, and then an impulsive third wave to the downside, which could even extend below these sort of levels where you could potentially be placing your targets. There was also something else that came up at that high. If we go to a weekly time frame and we run a ray from that high to that high, it touches that high, so it's a valid downward sloping trend line. Look what happened when price touched it. So I don't know, we probably got now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different lines or areas of market geometry. It all came together at that point there. Now, it's all fair and well, it's just showing you this. Another big question I get quite often is, how do you find your trade ideas, Richard? Do you use a scanner? Guys, I've tried using scanners in the past. I still have a stock trading platform I've given up with it. With so many markets, I mean, so many variables or inputs that you can put into a scanner, it really almost becomes impossible, in my opinion, to find just tradable trade ideas. Because, you know, as you probably see, I work with market geometry. There's also a technique where you have to be really patient, but quite often you nail the actual reversal points in the market. So this is also why we have the new market timing report that came out, a market cycle report that we've just launched, a cycle timing report, sorry. And we're going to start implementing that and build it over the future, depending on how, you know, active people would be or interested in this sort of subject. But what I'm going to do there is at some point, apart from the actual marks that I'm following and do reveal in them there, potentially build out, what I want to do is build out a dashboard that covers, let's say, the top Forex pairs, maybe some commodities, maybe some indices, and then do cycle work like you could probably see over here. And this is actually the US dollar Swiss franc. I've performed these cycles almost within that area where I believe we might have had a top. And remember now, this was that ABC I showed you in that example on the live chart there. And the cycle and this grayed out saw area here is actually the updated move out of that cycle after I performed the analysis. So I did not do this after the fact. So here we have a cyclical turning point. We have technical analysis. We have a whole majority of different lines, everything coming together right at that high. And that was a high confidence shorting opportunity. All right, guys, hope you understand what I've meant by that. I do still think there's some more downside potential here, so this could probably be something that you would like to follow on your side and see how things materialize. Alternatively, and I've always got to have a plan B, is that this was still a decline, a retracement, and now we have an A, B, C, D, E triangle, and then a move down later in the year. Could still be a possibility as well. But yeah, let's just see how things goes. For me, I think there's enough evidence there from multiple different analysis techniques and cycle analysis to point that we have a probable strong top or after a correction that retraced this first drop here, and that we could be heading to new lows. All right, how are we doing for time there? Okay, I talked for 18 minutes, guys. Do we have any questions from your side? Anything you'd like to ask about this? Anything about the cycle timing report? And just quickly, I did mention in the beginning of today's session, I do have a video that I made on Bitcoin. So if you've got any questions about Bitcoin, you might want to go check that on TradingView. Visit my profile. I don't know, I think it was a 5-minute video just showing some extra cycle works that I've been performing there and how well it's continuously working in the market, as well as a new sort of cycle turning point that I believe is very near. So if you're interested in trading crypto, you follow Bitcoin, please go watch that video as well. And please follow me as well so I can make more of those videos. Yes, do you want me to have a look at Luna, US dollar tether? Let's do that. It really depends how long some of these markets trade. You just have to always, since when it started trading, because you know, if you want to perform proper market analysis, you at least need a instrument that's been trading for a while. And I can just go to a daily. It looks like it started last year. Is that right? Maybe you can confirm. Man, we all wish we got into trades like this at pennies, and then you get this happening. Okay. All right, right off the bat, if this is a market that's going to continue to grow, then obviously this was your first lift-off phase. So you probably had a 1 there, a 2. Now this could be a 3, a 4, and a 5. I'm not saying it is. It could go much higher in a third wave, especially when you're dealing with crypto. Let me just get a fib extension here. Okay, I don't really have a starting point here. Let's just go to somewhere there. I'm doing this very roughly, guys. Yeah, we had to 200% extension of that first move. Right there. That could be a third wave. Now, if you got something that's in early development like this, you know, this move in here, let me mark that for you. Especially when it comes to crypto, which I'm a real big believer in. If this move, if this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, get a correction and then up again, could be in its infancy stages, because it's not been trading. It's been trading for what, a little over a year. It could be something like this, you know. So there's probably huge potential still left in this. What is a little bit worrying, and I have to be honest with you here, is this pattern that we're seeing here. This looks like a clear three-wave move here. Potential 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, and this three-wave move, and this is quite often how you spot patterns and the potential, and always have a plan A and a B, is a three-wave move into a new high. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it happened recently in Bitcoin. We had a three-wave move to the recent highs, not the recent highs before we just broke, that we just broke recently, sorry. And that you could potentially then see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a move to the upside. Because waves should not end in three waves, and this looks like a clear three-wave move to the upside, but obviously we're looking at a daily chart here. Alternatively, this could also lead into a leading diagonal, which is what I've shown you over here. And rather than a C wave leading diagonal, a potential, let's say, a third wave leading diagonal. And to mark that out, this is probably, that could be looking something like this, that's still under development. You know, everyone's also been saying, you know, the bull runs really haven't happened, or the altcoin runs really haven't happened yet. I'm still thinking that it could, but keep I don't know, ask this question, but please keep a close eye on Luna, because if we start breaking these lows over here, I think we do have it 5 waves A, B, C potentially before we go up. Or if price then continues higher within a similar looking pattern like this, that could be showing an ending diagonal, followed then by a potential 4th wave drop, 5th wave drop, which could be much higher up. But yeah, I think that's probably what you're looking at Luna at the moment. Philip Raphael's asking a question. Hi Richard, I heard that one should only use fractals as points for a pitchfork. Is this true or not? Philip, absolutely have no idea if that's true or not. I'll tell you one thing though, if you start off using pitchforks, you should try to get 3 anchor points prior to a move that you're following. Obviously that's the rule of thumb. Another rule of thumb for me is if you think you're dealing with a correction, in majority of the cases, I believe a shift pitchfork works better than a modified pitchfork. When it comes to anchor points, especially when we're dealing with corrections, this is actually, we're going to do a pattern class on patterns, not next month, but probably the month after that. Where I'm going to be looking at the corrective patterns that I like to follow, as well as identify the underlying characteristics and behavior that they tend to display. So it gives you a really good sort of idea what correction you could be dealing with before it has ended, if you understand what I'm saying. And in many cases, knowing which anchor points to use because of the correction that you're following does actually make a difference, rather than just using the standard low, high, high, higher, low, and using different anchor points rather, according to where you believe the, how can I say, the correct ending points of the internal cycles or internal waves of a correction might be. So then, yes, in that aspect, it does matter, in my opinion. You're welcome, my man. I know there's a friend of mine that's crazy about Luna as well. He's in it. He bought Luna, I think it was in August already. So he's obviously done really well. So maybe, you know, look at this video again, go do those markings, and, you know, this could still be bullish. I'm not saying it's bearish, but this 3-wave move to the top there does bother me. It could do this and then go up. Put in some alerts on your side on the platform. Maybe look at this level, let's say 34.83ish. You get a strong move, it closes below here, and even this level here. Then I would say you're probably going to see this ABC move. And to follow ABC moves, I quite like to use, or sorry, expanded flats. This is an expand, could be, I'm not saying it is, just say it could be, if price breaks those lines. And then they typically retrace. In this case, it will be too sharp. We'll probably have to use a different setting. We can always again look at this if and whatever happens next, if you understand what I'm saying. Let's quickly have a look at Bitcoin. I want to show you what I mean by that expanded flat, if you don't mind. I'm just going to use Bitstamp somewhere. Yeah. See, you guys, I've got mostly market geometry on most of my charts marked. This is that same 3-wave move that I talked to you about on Luna. And when you get strong reactions like this, and if you're still bullish in the long term, the first thing you must be thinking here is what corrective structure is this, if it is a correction. And the only one that fits that happens after a 3-wave move is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're called expanded flats. So this would be an A, a B, and a C. Look how well this pitchfork did using, this is actually the start. This is actually a corrective move, although it went up. Very weird for some to understand, but it's part of a correction. So this was an actual high. Down price came a B wave and a C wave ending in 5 waves. Right, sorry, actually it ended here. Clear, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we shot it back to the upside. Again, go watch that video if you're interested in Bitcoin. You know, quite often a lot of your alts will follow the what Bitcoin obviously does, the big granddaddy of the crypto world. And go check out those cycles. I've listed where I think we might get another reversal and see how well those cycles have worked already. So really, really cool analysis there. And you know, we've hit this low median line, price went up, and this is typical what you want to do when you're studying patterns. If this is an ABC and you've got a beautiful 3-wave move, I'm expecting a 5-wave move. Now you have just one straight move to the downside. This will tell me we're probably going to test this low again. A very high probability, because we only had 1, 2, 3 moves into this low. There's no way you can count another 1, 2, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here at all. So they can be quite predictive if you study chart patterns and understand how they work and combine that with market geometry. We have a question. Something about CHPT. Can you just clarify what that is? Is it a ticker symbol for crypto or a stock? And then we have another question. Do you focus more on pitchforks or patterns? Because sometimes when I trade using patterns, it reserves on the median line, and I'm usually trading cryptos. I use a combination of both. So it's definitely a blend of pitchforks and then also identifying patterns. So what I quite like to do is see a directional move, and then, for example, you think like this was the first move that kicked off a new trend or whatever the case might be. Then wait for corrective structure. Let's say market's been coming down. You want to see a higher, confirmed higher low. Then use your pitchforks and assume that you might be dealing with a correction, and then have some understanding of the different types of corrections that are out there. Always go to my first go-to pattern is a single ABC. The one after that, if that one fails, is a double zigzag, and then obviously triangles, which I love trading as well. So a combination of both, Philip. They have a question from Nate. He wants to have a look at CHPT. Okay, that's ChargePoint, if I'm not wrong. Let's just save that. Yeah. I think someone asked this question a while back. Similar ABC move, 1, 2, 3, ABC 4, 5. This is probably not an ABC. I think we looked at this way back here, and then actually price did go higher, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I see this recent low came right back into these highs over here. This could have been an ending diagonal. Oops. Man, it's a massive drop, that 1, 2. Oh. This can't be a 3-wave. This whole thing could have been an ABC as well, so I want to get rid of all these things. Yes, but it's been annihilated since the start of this year. Where's these lows? There. Just find that. Okay, that's now working on a modified shift. Nope. And I mean, these are very visual tools as well, guys. You need to look back at where price has been reacting on either your center median line or these 50% dash median lines, as I call them, and that quite often helps you in guiding you which pitchfork to use. And quite often when you get undershots like this, you might think that the pitchfork's not working, but the angle could still definitely be working if you run a line parallel to that. And you can see sort of, you know, these lows all came together there. A good example of market geometry actually was something on copper that I've looked at earlier today. Oops, not that one. That's on the Indian exchange. We should be looking at high grade copper. Hopefully I've saved this. No, I didn't save it. It was an high grade copper. Anyway, I'll show you that something at some other stage. Trying to find the operating angle within a market. It could actually, a market's been trading for quite a while, be controlling a market as support and resistance, at angular support and resistance for a very long time into the future. Mustafa is asking me to have a look at the pound yen. Let's have a look. You're more than welcome. JPY. Forex. Oh, and even here I've got market geometry on. And right off the bat, we're at an upper median line again of a very long-term pitchfork, taking the three most prominent swings prior to this move to the upside. Sorry, we're at the center median line. Good example of, let's just get rid of this. The price reached this upper median line of this pitchfork, moved down. I think last time we looked at it, we were around about here. Let me get rid of that line there. Let me see if I got another chart. I've got 3 screens, guys, so if I disappear from view, then I'm actually looking at my other screens as well. Yeah, I would say this is probably a strong high. If not, then a potential another one more and then down. Now, how far down, I really can't tell you that. This looks like a leading diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, potentially a 3, 4, 5 for a third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave, or this was a leading diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and a much deeper correction. Just for the reason of hitting and reacting from the center median line there, I think this does look a little bit bearish to me. This count from here might still not be done, but I'll be very careful going along on the pound yen, just because it is at lines that, you know, obviously many traders won't really see or know about, which is why I also perform market geometry even if I go onto a weekly time frame or anything higher than that, because you know, I want to know where these lines are, you know, even if I'm day trading, whatever the case might be. So we have not reached that line yet, projected from here at the same angle as the center median line. So if we are going to go higher from here, I'm just interested in this move. Could be a 1. Let me get rid of a magnet mode. 2, potential 3. If we find support somewhere and we head higher, then be careful. If we hit this sort of area, then we're probably going to see a much deeper correction if that is the case, and if this wasn't some sort of count here, I don't know. So be careful. Area of resistance, we pulled down close below it, pulled right back to that center median line, and again, this is a pitchfork that dates back all the way back to 2016. So if you executed longs into that area, a lot of traders always get caught out like that. They did not perform their market geometry or do their homework from a larger time frame, because they don't want to do that. They just want to trade day trade, and they end up buying breakouts, which I'm sure a lot of people did here, and they think it's going to go to the moon, and what they didn't know is that they're running into a very, very strong multi-year center median line of a long-term pitchfork, and boom, you get a reversal, and they don't know why. And this is a good example of why. So on the pound yen, I think I won't be going along Mustafa, but I mean, that's obviously your up to you. I can't tell you what to do there, but hopefully this makes sense for you. If we are going to go up higher, be careful, because, you know, price could still reach this projected from that high over there, or it is already topped. I'm not saying it's going to new lows. What I am saying though is that we could probably get a deeper correction. Let me do some fib work here. Extensions. This does look like a leading diagonal. Yep. See, we're not quite there on the 1.382, which is typically a third wave extension, if this is a leading diagonal. 2. We could still make it a little 3 there, still possible. potentially come down in a 4. It could take a while. Go up in a 5th, then come down, and then later stage go up again. Ibrahim, yeah, log scale works extremely well, especially when you're dealing with parabolic moves. I can have a look at XRP for you. Let me save that. And you want to see this on Bitstamp. Okay. Catching this high, you mean? Abraham, it really depends on which anchor points you used for your pitchfork. Oops, I've noticed today that it's difficult setting the second anchor point here. I don't know why. Center line of a channel. Guys, when you perform market geometry enough, you can start seeing angles. This is why I drew that channel there, because I thought this is probably in the middle of a range of this and could be a channel, which it seems like it could be. We're using this low as a first anchor point, second and third. Monthly chart. It really depends what you where your anchor points are. You want to do that on a log scale, and which anchor points are you using? Let's play. Let's get that on there. Yeah, center median line, upper median line there, down, center median line, and now we're stuck. Guys, Ibrahim, this is a good example, and I'm glad you're playing around with log scale as well. Pitchforks work extremely well on log scale as well, but just don't always do it. There's times and places when it might look that on a normal scale, on the outer scale, that pitchforks aren't working, and I think you just cannot figure out which setting to use. It doesn't make sense how the market is not respecting these pitchforks. Then I would say go to log scale. So I think that's what you told me. Yeah? Go to the top perfectly. Yeah. Yeah, it's fib work won't work on a log scale. All right, guys. Are there any more questions? I've been going on for 45 minutes. Generally a bit longer that we're going on, but we've had some really nice interaction, which is always great. Again, guys, if you like your cryptos, go watch that video on TradingView, and please subscribe to my profile. I'm going to start doing some more cycle work on crypto. Obviously, this seems where a lot of the interest is these days. So if you want to see more of that, then please subscribe. Mustafa, you're more than welcome, man. No worries. And Nate, if there's any more questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll stop it here. I also need to take the boys to Kung Fu today, which is actually in half an hour. I still have to get home. All right, cool, guys. It doesn't seem like there's any more questions. Thanks so much for watching today's session. Again, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already, the like button, hit that notification bell. Please subscribe or follow me on TradingView. Go and watch that video there. It'd be really cool if you do. And I'll be back next week with another session on Wednesdays as usual, same time. Until next time, have a great rest of your week and weekend, and I'll see you next week. Thanks very much for watching, and goodbye.